Frankenstein's got a journal, Wolfman has a vlog. Swamp Thing tweets from down in his bog. Pete and Nash read it all, and now they're trying to see what's going on with these Vampire Diaries. Hello, welcome to the Vam-Petey Diaries, the Vampire Diaries podcast where a guy who has never seen the show watches the series for the first time with a superfan. I'm the titular Petey. Let's just say I put the Petey in Vam-Petey, but please call me Pete, and I'm here with my co-host and co-parent, Ash. We just watched Season 1, Episode 5, You're Undead to Me. You are undead to me.
Yep.
How you doing, Ash?
I'm doing good. Hanging out.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to my home.
Welcome back to our home where we live. Ash, vampires are sexy, in part because they drink blood and it's red and it glistens on their fangs and there's like a connection with the heart, like blood runs through your heart and you use your heart to love people, right?
Okay.
And stuff like that. But do you think that it was ever pitched back in the day when they were thinking up vampires for vamps to drink any other bodily fluid, and would it be as sexy? For example, could you imagine Edward from Twilight being like, I need your pee so I can live?
No.
Or maybe Stefan from this show like, barf in my mouth so I can get stronger.
Definitely not.
You don't think so?
Every other bodily fluid would be so gross.
Yeah, true, for sure. You don't think that back in the day, like who invented vampires? I guess they were just kind of like born from lore.
Yeah.
Like there were some like true freaks running around actually drinking people's blood.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you say people are horny for blood.
Oh yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
Yeah. But there was never like Bram Stoker wasn't like, what if he drink some pee. Like,
No.
A chalice of urine is what I desire.
No, it's so gross. Definitely not.
All right, so the cold open of this episode
is not a couple in a car. You're so sad that they broke
I know,
away
a couple
from
in a
that.
car, couple camping. I need to see a young couple. I need them to be coming home from a concert. Mm-hmm. I need them to be doing a date-like activity for me to be satisfied.
Would you be satisfied if they did that every single episode for 8 seasons?
Yes, I want to see 700 episodes of a different couple named Person 1 and Person 2 or whatever.
Getting attacked by a vampire.
Yeah, and it's just always Damon every single time.
Every time.
Yeah. No, that was not this. This was the opposite of that.
It was not that.
Damon was in the vervain chamber with no ring.
Man.
Stefan rolls up onto him. We get some good exposition on the vamp rules. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't do this. I can do this.
I know the vamp rules are great because you need to know them and they give it to you little bit by little bit.
Yes, but an interesting thing to do in the cold open, because usually it is that little snappy like first kill or like a little bit of intrigue, which I guess we do get to that, right? But no, not really. It's just more like, I'm going to put you away for 50 years and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he has a whole thing. He's like, oh, well, when because Damon's like, don't you know what happens to vampires who don't drink blood? And Stefan's like, well, yeah, of course. Like, he's a vampire.
It's the old thing, like, as my brother, you should know,
Yeah, he's like, yeah, well, you don't feed for this amount of days, then you're going to be like a live mummy, basically. And he's just going to be waiting, mummified, until Stefan is ready to reevaluate, is what he says.
There needs to be like a sexy mummy show where they're like unwrapping their toilet paper or gauze or whatever and like do-do, do-do, do-do.
I don't know if when he mummifies, if he's going to have a wrapping on him.
I know, but I'm saying like Vampire Diaries, the mummy exposition or whatever, the mummy expose, and it's like do-do, like I'm old under here. Yeah, that'd be a good show. I watched the Mummy journals. Mm-hmm. Wolfman's got a vlog. So, yeah, that was a different cold open than we've seen, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I assume on some planet where you would have watched this live in 2000, whatever.
I didn't.
That commercials would have run, and then we would have gone to the main show, Act 1. Elena waking up in bed, good lighting, and she's like, waking up is hard.
You're right.
And all her makeup and everything.
She woke up with her full makeup, and she's like immediately about to write in this journal. I'm like, you're not blinking your eyes for like 10 seconds trying to figure out what's going on with your life?
I know, you're not trying to like go take your vitamins, brush your teeth. Your kids aren't waking you up 7 times.
Yeah.
I know she doesn't have kids.
She woke up so...
She's like,
And she was like wide awake. Like,
yeah.
You're not even a little bit tired?
No sleepy sand in the eyes.
No, she was ready to rock. But she did not write in her journal.
No, she was like, I can't.
Nothing exciting.
Nope. And we learn very quickly that Jeremy has snuck Vicky over for the night.
Yeah, in the last
Scandalous.
episode, Vicky showed up at the end of the night.
And she was like, I'm going to make a bad decision or something. Another bad decision.
Right. And and Jeremy's like, I'll be that bad decision.
Yeah.
Come on in.
I've made many bad decisions before.
That delinquent, as he calls himself.
Yeah.
Later on.
Stefan talking to Uncle Nephew Zach, lying about everything to Elena, but now he has to tell her the truth.
Yeah, they hadn't talked in like 5 days. When you're in high school and you're dating someone, if you don't talk for 5 days, that's so long. I don't think this ever happened to me in my life.
Yeah, that'd be pretty random. My boyfriend hasn't talked to me for 5 days. That's so random, I would say.
I mean, and that was in the time where people would call people. She's like, why didn't you call? They're not like, why didn't you text me? You should have, you could have DM'd me while you were taking care of business.
Yeah.
She's like, why didn't you call? He's like, I'm sorry I didn't call. It's like, well, nobody calls people these days.
No, and I don't know exactly your high school experience, but to me, texting was like just invented when we were in high school. No,
it was all phone calls. It wasn't even cell phone calls. It was house phone calls.
It was house phone calls back then. Yeah, for sure. But like I got a cell phone, and like I texted like once, and I was like, ooh, I'm texting. And I was like, this is going to cost me 10 cents or whatever.
Yeah, and sending one text also took so long.
Yeah, I was like counting I was like, I guess I got $1 I can spare to text these ladies.
But like, how did we use to text? Because it wasn't like a regular keyboard. It was like it's basically like how phones are. Like one is ABC or something like that.
Yeah, so you would be like,
look, but does it even exist anymore?
On the keypad probably, but it would be like I need a C, 2. So I'm gonna press 2 3 times.
Yeah. You had to like navigate through an A, B, C, and then a D. Oh yeah. Now I'm remembering.
It was tough to text.
We're not even that old, just so you know.
But I look a lot older. All right, so
sorry.
So he has to tell her the truth. He's telling Uncle Nephew Zach like, I gotta tell her the truth. But like, what's he gonna tell her? He's gonna be like, hey, I'm a vampire.
I mean, maybe it's foreshadowing of this episode.
I guess so, but now obviously I've seen the full episode. But at the beginning of the episode, I was like, so I gotta tell her the truth. I'm a vampire.
No, he's gonna just lie again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he still hasn't told her anything, by the way, at this point.
True. And my note was also, it would be hard to believe someone was a vampire, lol. So he was like, I'm going to come out and tell the truth. It'd be like, why is this weird guy telling me this stuff? And also, you had like a boyfriend who said he was a vampire in a weird way.
He wasn't my boyfriend.
Okay, a romantic engagement.
I actually had the opportunity to be his girlfriend, but I picked you over him.
Oh, wow.
In real life scenario in college. But he did tell me he was a vampire, and I was like, what? But, obviously, I didn't think he was a vampire, but it was also very intriguing.
But truly, also, not to dig too, and we're not going to name him or anything, but not to get too much into his business, but I think he was quoting the rules of attraction, which Ian Somerhalder is in.
Yes, and an emotional vampire.
Yeah, but I think Vanderbeek's character says that.
Yes, but at the time I didn't know that, and he never told me his references. But then when I met you and started dating you and watched The Rules of Attraction, I was like, oh, that's why that guy was telling me he was a vampire. He's just acting. He's just impersonating this guy. I don't know.
Vanderbeek.
Man, I haven't dated anyone in how long? How long have we been together?
Probably like 15 years or something.
Yeah. Well, the dating scene 15 years ago was super weird.
Yeah, people weren't even like calling out their references. What's going on with that? So weird. All right. So Bonnie hanging out with Caroline. When Bonnie and Caroline are hanging out, I'm like, it's going to be hard to remember these girls' names.
You remember them immediately. You were like,
I know, but
you were
Bonnie
like, and Caroline.
For some reason, Bonnie and Caroline are like the same name to me. I don't know. Right? Anyone?
And they're good. They're good friends. I like Bonnie and Caroline.
They're great friends. Okay,
BFFs.
so best friends forever. So Bonnie, last episode, lit all those candles.
Yeah.
Now she's holding.
She didn't think she lit all the candles, but like just to recap.
She didn't think that.
She thought she was like, I'm gonna light all these candles, and then she turned around and then she turned back and they were all lit. She was she tried to light one candle.
Light one candle and they all got
she
lit.
turned around
and
they were all
then
lit.
she said, "This party is lit."
Yeah, she was like, "What am I doing?"
All right, so and now she's hanging out with Caroline, looking at a unlit candle.
Yeah.
She trying to light it? We don't know. But the wick,
Of course, she's trying to light it.
the wick has not even been lit yet. But also, I don't think she is. I think she's kind of like maybe subconsciously like thinking about lighting the candle.
No.
But you're gonna be sitting with your friend and then all of a sudden light a candle with your mind.
Yeah, because Caroline's like, oh, Damon. She's like, Caroline's not paying attention. I'm going to try to light this candle. And then Caroline's like, what are you doing with that candle? She's like, nothing.
Nothing.
And Caroline's not like, doesn't press her for it.
Here's my 6 minute into the episode Pete-diction. I did an early Pete-diction. Uh-oh. Yep.
That's the sound for that.
I said my 6 minute in Pete-diction was Damon is going to use that crystal necklace thing to talk to Caroline and get her to come get him out of the vervain dungeon.
Oh.
And I don't know.
partially correct.
We'll talk about it a little bit later in my notes. But like, did he use the crow? Did he use the necklace? What's the necklace doing? Putting that like star or pentagram on her while she's sleeping or whatever. But we'll get to that. Also, Caroline and Bonnie. I want to call one of them Connie. All right. So
That
okay.
was an echo because I was mean from my wine glass.
Your wine.
Drinking, I mean my blood.
Blood.
Glass.
You mean you are drinking blood?
Drinking blood.
Drinking blood.
By the way, we have two kids. One is almost 9 and one is 4. And we talked about drinking blood tonight. Did this podcast in front of them.
Yeah.
And
The younger one.
Our 4-year-old was like, I know vampires drink blood. And then he was like, anyways, I know you're talking about wine. I was like, what? We have never talked about this in front of him ever.
No.
I mean, he knows that we drink wine, but it was hilarious. I was so surprised he knew what a vampire was and also that he made the connection between blood and wine. He's so smart.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Very smart.
Goals. Hashtag goals.
Hashtag blessed. So Connie, a.k.a. Caroline. Oh, man. I'm going to be thinking her name's Connie this whole time.
I mean, there's always these ship names that come about.
Oh, yes.
So Caroline and Bonnie must have been Connie. But I don't remember because I wasn't really into social media when this show was on.
What? Did people ship Caroline and Bonnie?
Maybe because they're BFFs, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
The first, like, ships I really got into were PLL, but I had, like, Instagram at that point. I don't even think I had Instagram when I watched the show because it was a long time ago.
The first ships I was into was, like, the USS Iowa and, I don't know, whatever.
The Disney cruise.
Yeah, bailing on that joke. Okay. But Caroline is talking on the phone to Tiki, Tiki, someone we have not met yet, but she mentions the sexy Suds car wash.
Yes.
And to me, car wash ep, this episode hinges around a quote-unquote sexy car wash. And whenever I think of one of these car washes, I do think of, what's the movie where the guy pulls up with the super dirty car? Is that Bring It On?
I think, yeah, there's definitely a car wash scene in Bring It On. Yeah.
And Jesse whatever. Not
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg, but...
No, it's in Bring It On.
He pulls up with a very dirty car. Mm-hmm. That was a good move. That's funny. But
and they like got the joke. They thought it was cute.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst was like, oh.
Mm-hmm. But he was really against the cheerleading thing, and so for him to even come to the car wash was like a step in the right direction.
It was great. But whenever I think of these high school fundraising car washes, I'm like, these are only for hunks and pedophiles.
Okay, I wish I had asked my question before you said that. But have you ever been to a fundraising car wash?
Well, yeah, I'm a classic hunk, so of course.
Because I have definitely put on a car wash.
I know.
fundraiser.
I think that was going to be a question later. What has been your involvement in a sexy car wash? And I could have guessed that you had done one of those fundraisers.
Definitely. I did cheerleading and dance and poms, and I think we did it for cheerleading and poms, but not for dance. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I don't feel like we washed that many cars.
Yeah. Maybe I've done one for like basketball, but then also no one wanted us to wash their car. And then people maybe were just like, here's like $1 to leave me alone.
But I don't know if people do this anymore because it's probably too weird.
Yeah. I mean, there was probably a classic era when this was still bad and creepy, but people still did it.
Yeah. But also I cleaned the car today.
And it was very sexy. So there we go. All right, The Grill. I didn't know. All right, Mystic Grill.
Mystic Grill.
I think they did probably call out the name, but Grill. I
feel like they were slow to name where they were at.
Yeah, they were like, it's just a pilot. It's just the first 3 episodes. Yeah. It's it's a place where
I knew it was Mystic Grill, but I don't feel like they were saying
drink soda at the bar.
Every single person is there always.
Yeah, we all live here. Stefan tells Caroline that Damon is gone and not coming back. They're in the halls of the high school.
Okay, but you didn't say anything else about Mystic Grill.
I know, just we see the name.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a staple of the show.
We'll come back to it.
It's one of the sets they have built.
Yeah, Mystic Grill hangs in there for a while.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like a great place. Go get a soda, be a parent, and bring your kid and be mean to somebody.
Yeah.
I would like to go there.
Play some pool.
Yeah. Play some underage pool.
So Stefan tells
they're in high school.
Caroline at school.
Yeah, Damon is gone and not coming back. But also, how much does Caroline even think about, like, is Damon in college? Is he the cool guy who's graduated?
This is exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, perfect.
Later when we were watching this episode.
Earlier?
Excuse me. Earlier, but later in the episode. Uh-huh. I realized I was trying to watch it from, like, the girls' perspective.
Oh, yeah.
From them being in high school and meeting Stefan and Damon, and then they're talking about, like, their past breakups and these other relationships, and Damon's gone and he's never coming back. And the guys are so dramatic, but these girls are just in high school, and they're like, what, 17 maybe?
15, 16, 17? Yeah. Well, they can drive and stuff, so yeah.
Okay, so they're 16 or whatever. But so I feel like they would just be like, what? Like, what kind of lives are these guys our age or a little bit older living? Like, this is so bizarre. Like,
yeah.
But when I watched this show originally, obviously I knew they were vampires because of the title of the show and all the clues that you get as the viewer. And so I'm like, oh, well, these vampires are hiding all these secrets and they're, like, playing their thing. But now I'm thinking about it from the girls' perspective, and I'm like, these girls must think these guys are literally insane high schoolers and an older brother. Like, why are they so weird? And then I see why Elena gets so mad because she's like,
well, yeah.
Don't you just tell me what's going on?
I think I have a note of this later, but if you're looking at this from, like, Elena's perspective, like, a guy begins in the school and he hasn't told her literally anything about himself. Also, it's very weird to be telling Caroline, who I guess essentially is like Damon's girlfriend to a certain extent, like, he's gone and never coming back.
Right. She's like,
where'd he go?
Well, yeah. Did he get a job? Is he going to college?
Is he finally going to college?
Like, what's happening?
Is he just
he dead?
Is he a senior maybe?
Yeah, well, he doesn't.
Is he a senior at a different school?
I know that part is jarring as the second watch, many years later.
Yeah. So back at the grill, Mystic Grill, Matt is playing a little pool, as you're known to do as a high schooler at a grill. Just go to the grill and play some pool.
I guess.
Elena's there. Matt's like, you can rack. And they don't even make the joke that Matt would be like, you can rack because you always had a nice rack or something like that. No rack jokes? No boob to rack jokes?
That's because Matt is a nice guy.
Is he?
Yes. He's not going to make a rack joke.
I feel like
I know he's like the quarterback or like a football player or whatever.
But he's cool and nice.
But he's a nice guy.
I feel like he's in the position on one of these shows where he's like the grumpy ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, but he could be grumpy, but he's like, were we never not best friends or whatever?
Well, that's kind of cool that they were best friends and dating. You don't see that also, though, in a lot of shows.
What about you and me in real life?
I said in a lot of shows. I know that's the case in a lot of real lives, but on these shows, it's kind of like, well, I have my besties, and then
And then the guy comes.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what happens with Stefan.
So Zach goes to check on Damon, who's in his basement. Damon's in the vervain dungeon. Zach, for some reason, tells Damon, I've been putting vervain in my coffee for 16 years, which makes sense because Stefan put the vervain into Caroline's drink, and that messed Damon up, and that's how they even got into the situation. But it's a very weird detail for Zach to be bragging to Damon.
Well, but also Zach had the vervain growing in his house.
Oh yeah, he had the grow spot.
Yeah, so he's like, I don't trust these relatives. I'm going to be drinking it since I start drinking coffee for the very first time.
Yeah.
Because how old is he? Like 30? We start drinking coffee at 15?
I don't know how old he is at all.
He drank coffee when he was 10, and he was like, I'm putting vervain in this coffee.
He's like, look, I've been putting vervain in my coffee for 16 years. Also,
I'm 21.
Maybe I smoke a little vervain before bed for my anxiety about my family being vampires. Look, maybe I have a little hit of vervain when I wake up with my coffee, and maybe if I'm getting a special meal, I'll smoke a little vervain. But that's it.
I like that joke, but I was going a totally different way with it.
You were going?
I was going the fact that he is not that old and he's been drinking vervain in his coffee for 15 years. What was he?
They're Italians. They're real Italians.
Did you have coffee when you were 10?
Not me, but I'm not Italian.
No, so I'm asking. You're Italian, you're 10, you drink some coffee?
Yeah, Italians, rich history of coffee, wine.
For 10-year-olds?
Yeah, hey, Italians. Weigh in, Italians.
Send us a little comment or whatever.
Some real Italians. They drink coffee.
I like that one thing in this show gave us so much to talk about.
For sure.
That's why you gotta watch it.
Gotta watch it. Maybe just take a little vervain for your anxiety before you watch it.
Or a little vervain before you start your podcast.
For sure. All right, let's see. Damon, he's listening to this vervain talk.
Oh, right.
He saved a little strength to choke out his nephew from behind the bars.
Damon is the king of faking it. That is the truth. I
think that you have said that before, and that is a theme. Matt and Elena, back to Matt and Elena. Matt's like, what do you think about Stefan? That he's a serial killer and keeps a clown suit in his trunk? We don't know anything about him.
Lol. But he's like, but you should talk to him about it. And Stefan's like, talk to who about what?
Yeah, Stefan rolled up.
With that comment was so jarring. Stefan could have just been like, hey, Elena. He's jealous of Matt. He's jealous of
all these air breathers.
These humanoids.
To to a 162-year-old vampire. It isn't disappointing. This just isn't a real sentence, but I think the gist of it is like, why does he care if he's disappointing this 17-year-old? He's a 162-year-old vampire. But I know, he's in love, and it's Catherine. I know. But if you were to zoom out, if you were to Google Maps zoom out just a scotch,
right,
and you were like, in the broad scheme of things, like this 162-year-old vampire, his biggest issue right now is like disappointing a 17-year-old girl.
Right. I mean,
but hey, maybe fellas, we can take a lesson from this guy. Maybe we shouldn't disappoint these women out here in these streets.
Also, Stefan has big feelings.
He does. We're still at the grill. An older gentleman recognizes Stefan.
Oh my gosh.
That's a thrill.
Yeah.
1953. I knew.
What did you think about that? I should get closer. What did you think about that?
I mean, players got to play, I guess. Ballers got to ball.
But the thing is, Stefan could have glamored him or whatever. I don't know if they use the word glamour in this show, but he could have done what Damon did and been like, I did not live in 1953. But he didn't do it. But also, they don't say it in the show right now. But I wonder if he can't glamour because he doesn't drink human blood.
Yeah. I feel like they have touched on that in past
we
eps.
know that Damon is stronger, aside from this vervain situation, because he does drink on human blood, and Stefan does not. And I know why Stefan doesn't drink human blood, but you don't. However, I'm like, why isn't he glamoring him? But I wonder if he's like not trying to be weird in front of Elena, or he just can't.
Well, yeah, it might be several fold. Like, one is maybe that's a part of his code. Yeah. I'm not drinking human blood. I'm not glamoring or like influencing these humans. And also, what if he was like, actually, I wasn't there in 1953. Say I'm talking to the older guy, and then you're Elena, and Elena's like, what's he doing?
Yeah, like, what? And
that's
the
weird.
Guy's like,
and then would Stefan have to turn and glamour her as well? Which
but he hasn't.
Which, yeah, I think he wouldn't be okay with that anyway. So maybe we have answered our own question.
Exactly.
All right. So something became clear to me in this episode. And let me just read my note, which probably won't make sense, but then hopefully it'll make sense after I explain it. I said, so is this going to be a show where Elena just knows that Stefan is a vampire and then they deal with that like it's a relationship issue? I guess so, but I didn't think that far into the show. I guess she couldn't just not know he's a vampire for 8 seasons or whatever. Whoo boy, good luck with that. So, and it's Ep 5, and, you know, a lot of these sort of things are like, I gotta keep my secret hidden. But I guess at a certain point in 8 seasons, and I'm sure the cast like flips over and there's different people and all that jazz. But I hadn't thought yet that it's going to be like Elena and Stefan dealing with relationship issues between gal and vampire, which I guess that's what Twilight is also. But I hadn't thought it that far into the future yet.
Yeah, you just thought that she was never going to know he was a vampire?
I hadn't thought about it.
And I'm not confirming or denying. I'm just trying to see what you...
No, because like I said, I hadn't thought that far in the future. And also, like I said, that's a tough pill to swallow, you know? Like, he's a vampire. Like, if someone came to me, was like, I'm a vampire, I'd be like, that's hard to believe. Yeah,
it's true. And like, she's drawn to him. She thinks he's hot and like whatever. But what would make her at this point where he doesn't tell her anything about himself? I mean, until they have this dinner scene or whatever, I'm sure you'll talk about. But
yeah,
that she doesn't know anything about him. He lies all the time. He's really flaky. And then he, like, is also a super weirdo. Like, what about those characteristics make her be like, oh, but I love you, Stefan, no matter what? I mean, I guess besides the fact that he's super hot.
I don't know, because, yeah, it doesn't seem like their relationship hinges on a whole ton quite yet.
But also I know the answer, so.
Oh, good. All right. Sheriff and the newsman are hatching a plan.
Yeah.
And now Logan, the newsman, is on a date with Aunt Jenna.
Yep.
I know that they have passed, but is he now just using her? Is it a double-edged sword?
Yeah, I think he's like, I kind of like this girl. I'm probably trying to get with her, but he has a grander plan.
Yes. Of getting a watch. Okay, so finally we're at probably the best scene of the series, at least thus far, maybe, of the entire series. Stefan and Elena cooking some dinner. For some reason, Elena walks into the kitchen, Stefan's in there. Jeremy,
just cooking.
Yeah, just cooking. Jeremy let him in. Oh.
No, he doesn't have to be let in. He already got permission.
But he did say Jeremy, like, hooked it up, though.
Yeah, he did. He's a nice little brother.
He's a delinquent in my eyes. No. But, so we see Stefan, the first shot is of him chopping something. I was like, is he chopping up an egg?
Oh, he thought it was egg?
Yeah, but then we learn very quickly it's mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. Stefan is a good cook with Italian roots, which, again, he's dropping, like, little hints, like how in Little Nicky, my favorite thing, he's like, my family's from there. The deep south.
Right.
Yeah. So you always got to throw in the little vampire euphemisms where, like, Italian roots, not like, I'm from Italy and I'm a vampire. Mm-hmm. Mozzarella. Stefan, very creepy about Catherine. He's like, she was entitled and selfish, and he's like so judgy about her.
No, he says so many nice things about her at first.
Whatever. And then
he does rapid fire give facts about himself, and Elena's satisfied by it. But
wait, we're not there yet.
Okay.
You're talking about like the movies and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Elena is thinking, like, how old were you? 15? You know?
Right.
So they're supposedly juniors or whatever in high school. They're teenagers. So he's talking about this deep love where she was entitled and...
Maybe they're 16 or 17.
Okay, so they're 16 or 17. And so when he was 14, he learned all this stuff about Catherine and himself. Yeah, and then she died also.
He was so deep in love when he was 14.
She was selfish and entitled.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, that's the part where I was like, I came to this, like, total realization that...
You got to look at it from...
the way the girls are thinking about Stefan and Damon must be, like, super weird.
Yeah, you got to look at it from their POV. Like, if I'm a 17-year-old young man and then a girl comes into my high school and she's like, you know, I had a past love, but he was entitled and selfish. I'd be like, okay, cool. Can we kiss a little bit?
But let me tell you this.
Also, I was a dumb guy, so.
But in high school, you want to have the drama.
Sure.
You want to have all the crazy stories and the love triangles and all the things. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, not me, but I know that that's a trope.
No. Even in high, like even just having a love interest is so exciting. This and that. Yeah. So I can get why she, as a 17-year-old, would be like, this guy has so much history. Oh my gosh.
I know, but she doesn't seem that kind of girl.
She doesn't seem like that kind of girl, but that's the way that high school girls think. And
but they're putting that onto her character because she has real drama in her life. Her parents died.
Yeah.
So she has real drama. I would think she would want a stable dude.
No, she wants a hot guy.
Hot guy summer. Vicky is chilling with Jeremy. Uh-huh. Gets some pain pills, starts grinding them up.
I know.
Get a little snort action going on. That's crazy.
I'm glad they didn't show us them snorting it.
No, I need to see a rolled up dollar bill. I need to see a white line being snorted up someone's nose.
And the thing that was weird to me about that scene actually was Vicky's like doing all the drugs, and then Jeremy's like, do we have to be high all the time? And she's like, don't tell me that you're going to be one of these guys that tries to change me. And he's like, no. And then he watches her do the drugs and he smiles because he likes it. His reaction was very strange.
I think I was typing during that. Also, was Ty like that? Did Ty, my buddy Ty, Did he only want her to be like high and do drugs? I feel like
No, he didn't. He wanted her to like try to be clean, but he also was so embarrassed by her. But now Jeremy started to be embarrassed by her too. Like, do I have to be high all the time?
Hey, maybe she's embarrassing. We'll see.
Okay.
Stefan, okay, now we are at the scene where Stefan is rapid firing, talking about his likes, his dislikes, his movies, his bands, his songs.
Yeah.
That was an LOL.
He's going
Books and movies. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
He's going through like a friend. This is going to age me so much. But it's going through like a Friends file, the Sanrio characters. This is what we did in middle school. You had a notebook, and it was like everyone had their own sticker character, and then each page had like your likes and dislikes and favorites. He's going through his Friends file being like, this is my favorite show. This is my favorite movie. This is my favorite band. This is my favorite color. This is my favorite food. This is where I'm from. And she's like, finally. But I would be like, weird.
Yeah, so weird. I don't know that Friends file reference. But
I think my mom still has my Friends file stored.
I would like to read your Friends file.
It has a smushy cover.
Yeah, I can feel that smushy cover.
Yeah. It was bad smurro.
What? Bless you. What? Okay, he's like, I like Hemingway or something, and he's I like Grisham and Seinfeld, and I was like, and this is all bad from here on. This note, this is all a bad joke, but 162. Are we sure he's not just 60? It would be funny if he was.
He had a certain like generation that he liked.
But even, I guess, he did just sound like a very old but not that old person. He's like, I like Seinfeld, I like Scorsese, but you know what? I like a Kanye song. Miley Cyrus has a song.
No, I feel like he said the things he actually liked, and then he tried to play in a name of a current thing to sound like with it. But
if that was the case, then the only thing he would like was like, what do you say, Hemingway? Or that would be the only thing that was older. Like Grisham is still relatively
Fitzgerald, he said.
Fitzgerald, okay. So that might be his peer from back in the day.
Yeah, he's like, we were buds.
Yeah, but Grisham, Seinfeld was the 90s, so he would still be 130, you know?
I know, but did Elena like Seinfeld? So maybe he's trying to be like, say something that is cool.
I feel like Elena's more of a Friends gal.
Me too.
And then Elena's like, I love garlic. And he's like, me too. Lies! Right? Elena cuts herself cooking. Stefan, as he's known to do, gets horny for blood. Stefan or Kel?
Yeah, he got super horny for blood. And she saw him in the reflection in the window.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize it, I guess, because he was trying to fight it off. And then she goes behind him trying to see his face. And she trying to get a look at his face so many times.
He was trying to beat it off.
No.
Yeah.
But didn't you feel like she was like, Stefan?
I don't know. I was typing. I was typing that I was typing he was horny for blood at the time, so I didn't see it.
I thought it was way too long. She was trying to look at his face.
So in general, these types of shows, the weirdest things.
Great.
Huh?
They're great?
Yeah, they're so good. The weirdest things prompt kissing.
Yeah.
Ooh, I saw a spooky face after cutting my finger cooking. Time to kiss. Like, I'm looking I cut myself cooking. I see Stefan's spooky face. Let's kiss.
I know. She's like, oh, I thought you were scary, but you're not. Okay.
But maybe you still are. Let's kiss. Get our kiss on.
There are definitely some weird kiss. I agree.
Caroline is talking on the phone with Teak. Tiki. Still? Like, I feel like she was doing that earlier. I don't know. We're bouncing back and forth.
She's like, don't wear the one piece.
Don't wear the one piece.
I've seen you in it.
We want a stripper vibe, she says.
Yeah.
All right. Little did she know that one pieces would be so in 2019, which I know that we are recording this in 2020.
Yeah.
but 2019...
It's not bathing suit season yet.
No, and who knows what bathing suit season will be like in 2020.
It's true. Well,
I think that One Piece's will be in this summer in 2020. One Piece hazmat suits. Whoa.
Whoa. It's
Topical.
It's going to go from your nose to your toes.
Topical. Hazmat suits. Very, very good. I also...
like when you make yourself laugh.
Was Damon talking to Caroline through the necklace, like I said, or through a crow? I know there was a crow there, but also I predicted that he would talk through that necklace. I feel like it's up for interpretation. I mean, obviously there's a crow there.
Can I give you a real answer? I don't think it's a big spoiler.
Did he turn into a crow? Is that what you're going to say?
No, it's just because he's been feeding on her blood. They're connected.
Right.
And so he can communicate to her.
So are you saying that we still have not seen what the necklace's power is?
Correct.
Okay. The sexy suds car wash. Underwhelming, would you say?
Yes, Stefan had his shirt on.
We thought that maybe the track that was playing was a Cobra Starship song. It was not. We love Cobra Starship. It was a 303 song. They use real music in this show sometimes. That's good. Cobra Starship is a fun band, and it would have fit in this show.
Yeah.
And then Cobra Starship would be like, we got money from Vampire Diaries. That's funny.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're like anarchist or something. Who knows what they feel themselves are. Anyway, sexy suds car wash. Stefan, shirt on. Come on, bro.
Elena had her shirt on too. She had two shirts on. All right, he came in with a hoodie and a t-shirt, and she was wearing a long sleeve, like Henley, is that what it's called? Shirt with a ruffly tank top underneath. Who would ever put a ruffly tank top underneath a tight Henley? That does not make any sense. And then she was wearing a bathing suit under that. It was not okay with me.
No.
Period. Moving on.
The end. No, but wearing Elena's one shirt under the other shirt, it'd be so uncomfortable. It'd have so many
it would be
ruffles choking up your neck.
It'd be roughly and like poking out and just like not okay.
Come on, bro. You're gonna wear a hoodie to the car wash? Come on, bro.
And then when she was like, "You need to take that off," and she was like, or she said, "You need to take that off," he was like, "You first." But then she took her shirt off. She got all stuck in it.
It's kind of like the scene from Wet Hot American Summer where Michael Showalter is in the barn with, is it Linda Cardellini or is it Elizabeth Banks? He's in there with, oh no, it's the main love interest who eventually was on the OC. I don't know her name though. But anyway, Michael Showalter's in there with his lady of interest, and she's like, "I'm cold," and he's like, "All right," and he puts his flannel on her, and then he's like, "I'm kind of cold," and then takes the flannel back. A little bit like that. I don't know.
Oh.
Bonnie makes a hose explode on Teak. Maybe the same gal that Caroline was talking to the night previously, but now we know that.
Yeah.
So we do get the closure that she did wear a two-piece. Thank goodness. Yeah. Also, Bonnie's powers are not just for flames, but also fire's wet cousin, water.
Okay.
Where else, what other domains do her powers cover?
Water and fire.
Water, fire, earth, perhaps?
Wind, water, heart.
Ooh.
I am Captain Planet.
Is Bonnie Captain Planet?
Go Planet.
He's our hero, gonna take pollution
down to zero.
Elena wants Stefan to take off his ring to wash the cars, but he doesn't because he'll look old. You take that ring off, your face is gonna shrivel up, your fingers are gonna curl, and you're gonna look old, dog. Don't take it off.
That's the thing. that was your takeaway from it? For me watching it, I mean, that's probably how I originally thought when I watched it, but I'm like, why does she care so much about his jewelry? She cares about his jewelry getting wet. Like, if I'm trying to date a guy and his ring is getting wet, I do not care at all. My first question is, why is he wearing this ring? Because it's weird. Not that.
Whoa, you don't care if my ring gets wet? Deal breaker.
Like, your ring is getting wet. You should take that off. No. I'm like, your ring is weird and gross. Take it off.
The most logical thing would be like, hey, bro, don't scratch the car, bro. We're trying to make some money. We don't want to spend all our profits on fixing this guy's paint job.
She's like,
bruh.
And she saw, what kind of stone is it? And it's some weird thing and it doesn't exist.
Vervain.
No, it's like Los La La La.
Oh, yeah. La Llorona. That's a horror movie that came out like 2 years ago. Yeah, I think he'll look very old when he dates. I can't wait. All right, here's another Pete-diction off the fly, off the break, on the fly, on the break.
Okay. Say it already.
Bonnie, she can also manipulate the wind, and she uses the wind to suck both Damon and Stefan's rings off their fingers. They start shriveling up and become old. The end. Season 8, episode 22. Fade out.
Okay.
That's I put money on that. All right. The older fella from earlier comes to the car wash. Elena grills him, much like the Mystic Grill. Mm-hmm. So she is asking some questions, and she's like, "Oh, who are you hanging out with?" Yeah, his uncle or nephew or whatever. But not Uncle Nephew Zach, Uncle Grandpa Joseph. And the older guy is Teek's grandpa or something also. Yeah, so they were really, you know what? Good for them for like wrapping everybody else and having a relationship. Like, it's not just Tiki is on the phone randomly and then another girl is at the sexy car wash and then another guy is the guy who's doing the thing.
They could do that. But
they could.
They got it all tied up.
So, June 1953, Tiki's grandpa gives Elena the date. He has the receipts. Mm-hmm. And then, so we'll see Elena, like, go look into that later. We'll get to that. But, Ash was yelling, "Take off your shirt" at Stefan at the car wash.
Yeah.
Can't say I don't blame her.
Exactly.
To that note, the Fast and Furious franchise does a very comprehensive job of establishing these kinds of scenes with a quick butt montage.
There was not a butt montage.
There was not in this show.
Right.
Well, yeah. TVD could take notes from the F&F franchise, right? It's like, we're in Brazil, butt, boobs, butt. And it's like, and then like Dom walks in and there's a car and they're like, okay, we're in Brazil.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
TVD is like, a car getting washed. Yeah. Another car getting washed. Caroline counting money. It's like, okay.
They need to spice it up.
Yeah. F&F. Jeremy and Vicky. Okay. My note is, okay, Jeremy and Vicky meet to poke the smot at the cemetery. That's a silly way of saying smoke the pot, poke the smot. Oh. That's kind of weird that they're going to smoke some of the sticky ganj.
I know, but Vicky's like, this is where we always go.
Is that the cemetery where Elena and Stefan were at earlier?
No.
I guess, no? There's more cemeteries?
Or a different part of the cemetery.
Okay, different part, okay. Jeremy's on-purpose hairdo looks like a hair don't. Just kidding. But it looks like a quarantine cut.
Whose show was that?
Ash.
Yeah.
A lot of fellas are growing out their bangs these days. Jeremy was just doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I feel like every guy in this show looks like he's been quarantined for 2 months and hasn't got a haircut.
Yeah, I guess that was the style.
Well, the quarantine men of today should look back at the show and be like, all right, well, how'd they do it? Because they look pretty good.
Yeah.
They figure it out.
There should be like a calendar, like quarantine cuts.
Quarantine hunks.
Quarantine hunks. And they have long hair and surrounded by snacks. And they're working out in their living rooms. Some good shot composition in this ep, Ash. Caroline walking into the Salvatore house.
I like that shot as well, actually.
A couple good shots in there. Damon kills his uncle-nephew. What?
He doesn't bite his neck.
No, he snaps his neck. He snaps his neck instead of biting it. Maybe he doesn't want to fiddle around with turning him into a vampire. Which
is interesting, though, because he needs blood so bad, but he was, like, more determined to get Caroline.
He was. And, I mean, in these types of shows, anyone can come back, you know? So maybe this isn't the last of Uncle Nephew we've seen.
Is this the first death that we've seen that's not a cold open?
I don't know, Ash.
I think it is. I think it's the first fatality.
That's
not just like in the news.
Finish him. Hard to say, Ash. And finally, we get some good old-fashioned sunlight burning. He's not wearing his ring. Damon gets a little burnt by the sun.
I know.
Classic.
I'm so surprised you said that because you keep talking about when they're not wearing their rings, they're going to look old. Damon didn't wear his ring and he got burned by the sun. So, like, do you know what's happening with the rings?
Keeps them from burning in the sunlight, which we already knew from earlier.
Damon said it.
Yes, and we even got in the recap of this episode.
I was waiting for you to come to your own conclusion, but
that ain't happening.
I didn't want to spoil it for you, but it helps them from not burning in the sun, not from making them look old.
Well,
you just don't want that to happen.
A boy can still dream. Maybe he'll get it. Maybe he'll get a different ring. Elena goes to like the news station and talks to Logan. And some explanation of technology, she can like look on a TV and see something from 1953, which that's dumb.
That's so dumb.
And she goes into basically an editing bay, and that's exactly what it looks like. An editing bay where every TV show and movie is edited. It looks like that room.
Maybe that's where they edited this show.
I was thinking that.
There was some old Chinese carryout on the table, and I was like, that's gross.
But also, these editors, they're in there eating Chinese food.
Okay, but they gotta throw it away. And then also I was thinking about, I do not like it when older people tell younger people how to use technology.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't. I mean, like, aside from, like, our children or whatever, because they're too young, like, at a certain point, you can't be like, this is how you use a search engine. It's like, first of all, we don't say search engine anymore. And, like, Elena should be like, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me I'm a girl. And, like, I feel like he was treating her like she didn't know how to do anything.
He was mansplaining us.
Yeah, she's like, I know how to search the internet. Thank you.
Okay. That's your unique perspective you're putting on there.
Do you disagree? You're saying it like you disagree.
Well, only because it's his newsroom and he's like, you can search through this weird thing that probably doesn't exist.
Yeah, still.
But I hear you, Ash. I'm with you. I'm an ally. Vicky calls herself a waste of space small town lifer. And then she goes at Jeremy, ooh, the kid with the big house is just trying to, like, play with the small town lifers.
This made me mad because Vicky is basically saying that Jeremy is, like, doing drugs and acting out or whatever because his parents died. And maybe that's true, but that's so mean to be like, you're not an actual druggy person. You're just sad because your parents died.
That is weird. And what does that say about her? Like,
I know. Well, like, her mom's in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, like, I get to be a drug addict because I'm poor or something?
Yeah, I know. It was a very weird connotation of being like, you can't be a drug addict because your parents died, but I can be because I'm poor. My parents are never around, but they're still alive.
That is a strange delineation.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that.
I mean, it just speaks to her tattered mind state, I guess.
Yeah, it's true.
Matt and Stefan bro down, I think, at the grill, right? Mm-hmm. She's big on trust, Matt says. My ex-gal, she's big on trust.
Yeah, right? Like everybody?
I'm not that big on trust. I'm big.
You like lies?
Yeah, I love lies. And then, okay, so Elena's in the bay. She's in the bay. Cool 1953 news footage she's watching. Stefan is in the background. Somehow Elena was able to digitally zoom into this old either video or film footage.
That's why she's so good at the internet. She knew the shortcuts to the zoom in.
Okay, but how are you going to zoom in on, like...
Some footage? That's what they do in every single, like, cop show ever.
I know. It's bad. All right.
And she, like, adjusted the focus and the lighting.
From that 1953, that 50-year-old footage or whatever at this point. Damon escapes, right? We see a crow's skeleton.
Yeah, well, because he had to feed on the crow.
Yeah, Damon ate crow. Have you ever heard that saying?
No.
It means to be humiliated. It means to be humiliated by having to admit one's defeats or mistakes. So maybe Stefan will be the one eating crow next.
That's interesting. Ew, don't do that. That's too close.
Yeah, so Damon ate crow literally. Maybe he'll be the one eating crow figuratively, metaphorically, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The necklace made a symbol on sleeping Caroline.
Yeah, but you said pentagram. I think that's right.
Was it a pentagram?
Mm-hmm.
It was some kind of star or something.
But, like, yeah, nothing really happened with it. And you thought it was, like, a way of communication, but it wasn't. It's just, like, here's this thing that was really important to Damon. It's really important to these people who are trying to figure out that the vampires are back.
Yeah, and we just haven't learned about that yet, I guess.
Yeah, it's to come.
Bonnie hugs somebody, Graham.
Mm-hmm. She mentioned Graham earlier in one of the other episodes. She was like, Graham tells me I'm a witch. And she was telling her friends. And she was like, but I don't know. That sounds crazy. Like, she didn't believe it. And then now she had that number situation where there was another death that Coach died.
Oh, put me in, Coach.
And so then she's like, I predicted that. And then she lit the lights and the fire and the water. And so she was all like, Graham, I don't know what's happening to me.
And Graham looked ready for it. Logan steals the watch, but Jeremy catches him. Not in the act, but he's kind of like, what's up?
Yeah.
Stefan sees uncle and nephew dead.
And he sheds a tear.
Lots going on.
Yeah.
The climax. Elena is putting it all together. Mm-hmm. However, Vam-Petey over here, the titular Pete,
Yes.
myself, even with all this evidence, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, he's a vampire.
Really?
I'd be like, he's a really weird guy. Like, would you be like, always has on ripped jeans, likes to eat steak, has a beard. He's a werewolf.
No, of course not. But footage from 1953.
But, okay, Google Map, zoom it out. In your real life, say you knew somebody, say there was a new teacher at your school, and he was a hot guy who took his shirt off all the time. No, just kidding. But say say there was a new teacher at your school, a new person who works at your place of business where you work. I'm not going to cut out that earlier thing, but anyway.
No, just keep saying it.
And this guy was pale, and he was wearing a ring, and he was like, yeah, I love Seinfeld. And he had a weird brother who came around, and then someone was like, yeah, I know that guy from 1953. You'd be like, he's a vampire in your real life.
No, in my real life, I'd be like, he's a super nerd.
Because he likes Seinfeld?
Yeah. And he knows about the history, and he's got a weird brother and stuff.
Exactly.
But the only thing that would make me not think he was a super nerd would be the fact that I saw him have fangs and his eyes turned bloody.
Yeah.
And veins popping out of his face.
Okay.
And in my town, people are getting drained of blood, and the person who got drained of blood was like, it's a vampire. Like, those things might make me think differently.
Whatever. I'd still be inquisitive.
Well, good for you. And then you'd be killed.
Yep. Or a vampire.
Okay.
Damon bites Vicky now?
Again?
When he bit her before?
Yeah, but remember she was the first person that got bit and she was in the hospital?
Oh, yeah, and it was an animal. Oh, he's back for more.
Yes.
But this time, was it for the blood or was it for spite? And also, is she going to be a vampire now? She wasn't already.
She wasn't already, but he drunk her blood and then went back again.
Uh-oh. That could mean that he's turning her into a vampire or killing her.
Maybe.
All right, that end scene lasted forever. Mm-hmm. And then the very last thing was Elena was like, what are you?
No, you missed something important.
No.
What did Stefan grab to go try to find Damon?
I didn't see it.
He went back, when Stefan saw the crow and cousin guy dead and he's crying. He grabs a steak. And he's at the door with a steak. And then he sees Elena and he's like, and he hides it. And then Elena's like, what are you? And he's like, because he's just standing there with a freaking wooden steak in his hand.
Yeah, are we going to get like 2 episodes where Elena's like, Damon's a vampire? And Stefan's like, yep, just him.
That's a good idea.
That could be a Pete-diction. Okay. When you're doing a Petey pod, there's a game, right?
Okay. I have to steal some of this raw do.
This ep was 100% about sexy car washes. Nothing else of note happened. So we saw that a vampire at a car wash is relatively sexy. I mean, Stefan didn't take his shirt off or anything, but what other supernatural being would be sexier at a car wash?
Than a vampire?
Mm-hmm. And some examples could be a merman, a wolfman, a Frankenstein. What other supernatural being would be sexier than a vampire at a car wash? Because a vampire at a car wash, you'd think he'd be like, I want to
wash your car.
not wash your car and to go back to my cave and hang upside down. Who would be really relishing it?
I mean, definitely not a wolfman and definitely not a Frankenstein.
You know who I kind of pictured was like Chewbacca, like just roaming the car, like, and like, wiping his, like, because he looks like the thing when you drive through the car wash that wipes your whole big window.
Sexy?
I mean, to me, kind of.
You're talking about
like,
a sexy car wash?
Yeah, sexy car wash, kind of.
Or
like,
a practical, like Chewbacca would be a good practical car wash. He'd be able to suds up and clean the cars pretty well.
To me, practicality is sexy. And efficiency is sexy.
Oh, gosh. I mean, nothing.
No supernatural beings. Zombie car wash?
No. They're going to eat you up. Unless you light them on fire like you're Bonnie.
Bonnie light a zombie on fire at a sexy car wash?
No, I can't. I mean, I'm really honestly trying to think, and
mermaid, would be obvious.
But not even, because
Ariel up on the hood like, huh?
No, because she needs to have some water. Like, there's not enough water.
Well, what if she had feet? What do you call them? Feet?
No, I just think it would be sexier if Stefan had a shirt off.
Well, there you go. All right, Ash, 0, 1, or 2 fangs for this episode.
I'm going to go 2 fangs because I like the ending a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really ramping up. Hey,
I said ramp up in my little thing that I was about to say, too.
Oh, good.
In my notes. I said 1.75 fangs. And hopeful for the next ep. A very slow beginning, but now once Elena knows that Stefan's a vamp, I guess things will ramp up.
Vamp ramp.
Vamp ramp. They will vamp up.
Good. I didn't know 1.75 was a choice, but okay.
We make our own rules here. We're much like the writers of the Vampire Diaries. There are some rules that we follow, some that we don't. Pete-dictions. There are already some early Pete-dictions.
I know. I wish I could remember the questions I asked you before. I think I asked you, what do you think Stefan will do to gain strength? Mm-hmm. Because Damon was really strong.
Yeah, and I said work out at the gym.
Yeah, but maybe
I didn't.
maybe you don't think he needs to because Damon is weaker now. But then Damon just fell on Vicky, so
He fell on his keys.
that's not what I said. Is that what it sounded like?
No, he found the key.
Damon fed on Vicky.
Oh, I thought you said Damon found the key.
No.
And then I joked that it was he fell on his keys,
No.
which would make anyone weak. Have you ever fallen on your keys? Ow, they
No,
poke
definitely
you.
not.
They poke you right in the
Damon
in
fed
the
on
meat.
Vicky, so now he's gonna be strong again.
Poke you right in the leg meat with
Man, what's gonna happen? But what's gonna happen next episode? That's what I want to know from you.
Next episode. All right. Will Stefan spend act 1 look, I was holding the steak because I was going to build a fire and put this as one of the logs in the fire. Is he going to have some excuse? Or is he going to be like,
Is he going to finally tell the truth?
Look, me and Damon are vampires? Are you going to be like, Damon's a vampire?
Okay, those are options, but what do you think he's going to actually do?
I think because it's 22 episodes long, that's going to be the 6th episode. They need to tread water a bit. Mm-hmm. I think that at least in this next ep, it's not going to be, Elena, I'm a vampire, I'm 162 years old. I don't think that's going to come out this very next episode. I think he's going to be like, Damon's crazy. He got mad at me because of, some reason that he makes up. And Elena will be like, okay, let's kiss.
Okay.
All right, but I have
fine.
other Pete-dictions.
Okay,
I always have my supernatural thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. I still think Stefan will call upon the power of Bonnie, or Bonnie will come through in the clutch during a showdown with Damon.
Mm-hmm. It was really obvious that Stefan knew she was a witch in this episode.
And much like, is it Leslie Nielsen? I think that Vicky will be dead and loving it as a vampire, right?
Okay.
Caroline didn't take to it. Doesn't seem like, and she's easily controlled. She's not really a vampire, but she is definitely under the spell.
Yeah, because he's been drinking her blood.
Vicky, I think, will make it her own.
Do you think Vicky's going to be like a breakout character?
I don't know. She's definitely in the top. She's in the top 6 on the call sheet or something, right? Mm-hmm. She's in the mix.
Okay.
If you like the Vampire Diaries, I sound like Bill from True Blood.
Yeah.
The Vampire Diaries, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound like that, though. If you like the Vampire Diaries and or you are a young adult yourself, you should check out my young adult book series, The Happenstances, at tinyurl.com/thehappenstances. Also, I have a horror short story called Pipes. Go to ko-fi.com/High Dive Publishing. For any questions or concerns, follow me at Peter L. Harmon on Twitter or Instagram. Ash isn't on Twitter, and she's private on Instagram. If you have something to say to her that isn't weird, I may tell her. So you can, say stuff to me. If it's not weird, I'll be like, hey, Ash, guess what this person said?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And she'll be like, oh, cool. And then, go back to looking at her phone. Just kidding. No, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on the show. Or email thehappenstances@gmail.com. But don't tweet spoilers, or you will get muted, not blocked. I need the follower count.
Also, Beebs, we know you're going to watch Vampire Diaries, so listen to this podcast. Thanks.
Who?
Beebs.
If we had some Beebs, if we had the Beebs tune in, make my day.
I know. I was trying to be fast because we end this podcast fast.
Oh, we do?